Good morning, guys. Today we're going to be testing out the Covergirl Outlast Stay Luminous Foundation. I picked this up at Walmart. It was like $7.49 and it was brand new. I know that I have oily skin, but I couldn't resist a new foundation, so I had to pick it up. This one is in medium beige and it says give skin even coverage and natural glow that lasts all day. So this may be a big disaster, but I love to test out foundations, so we're gonna give this one a try. All right, so it does have a twist top on it, which is awesome. It has like a locking top, and I think their last foundation did as well. Let's go ahead and see here. There we go. All right, so it's not too watery, it's a little thick. I'm gonna go ahead and take my blender on one side and a brush on the other. So let's go ahead and start with the brush side. I've got my primers on and all that, just so you know. I've got my Stay Matte from Rimmel all over my face, and then I've got the Smashbox pore filler in the center of my face for my pores. All right, this is a really light coverage, so I might need a little bit more. I'm gonna put in a pump here. Yeah, it looks like a very light coverage. All right, here is the brush side. I think it does a really good job of covering. Like I said earlier, it's super light coverage, so it's not like what the last one that we tried from Covergirl. What was that one? The Outlast Stay Fabulous one. It's not as thick as that one. So here's the coverage here on this side. Not too bad. Try the other side with the sponge and see how that works. I know that with the sponge it's probably not going to be the best coverage, so I'm probably going to go back to the brush, but we'll see what happens. This side is very, very light coverage, so it definitely shears it out. But I think for somebody that likes a light coverage, your sponge side would be your best bet. And for somebody that wants a little bit more fuller coverage, the brush side would be a better bet for you. So I'm going to put just a little bit more on because I feel like I need more coverage. I'm going to use the brush here. Let's see if we can build this. Okay, so I think that's about all the coverage we're going to get out of this foundation today. So it's definitely a light to medium coverage. I don't think you're going to get any more by trying to build it. It's not going to get any better than that. So I think it looks okay. Doesn't look bad in the pores, which is one of my main concerns, and it's not really seeping here in the lines of my forehead, so that's good. But the more I try to brush it, the more it moves around, so it's not completely set yet. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Go ahead and put the rest of my makeup on, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about what it does with other makeups. What time is it now? I am running so late today. It is 7:06 in the morning, so let me go put the rest of my makeup on and I'll be right back and we'll see how it looks with other makeup. Alright guys, here is the finished look. I think that the foundation goes on very nicely. I feel like it does okay as far as coverage goes. Not the best coverage, but it did cover up the marks that I have on the side of my face after I built it up a little bit. You guys seen that? And I think other makeups go on quite well with this foundation. So I'm gonna go ahead and wear it today. I'll come back on my lunch break, show you what it looks like, and then we'll come back again at the end of the day to see how it's lasting on my face. Just so you know, it's wintertime now, so my face is a little bit drier than normal, but it still builds a lot of oil. So this is why I have no problem with trying a Luminous foundation, but we'll see what happens. So I shall be back at my lunch hour and I'll talk to you guys. This is our first check-in. It is now 1:10 in the afternoon. I am home for lunch, and so far I think the foundation is doing really good for it being a luminous foundation. I feel like that it might be separating in the center of my face a little bit, and I am definitely a little dewy, probably because of the Luminous, or maybe because I just get pretty oily throughout the day. But other than that, I mean, I don't see any difference on this foundation as far as like how oily I am compared to any other foundation that I do a review on, unless of course it's like a matte foundation. Here in the corner of my nose, it's definitely building up. That's pretty normal for me and my face. It's definitely starting to fade in this area here, so that might be a little bit faster than normal. I didn't put any type of highlight on today because I figured, well, this foundation is a luminous foundation. I didn't want to look extra shiny at the end of the day, or you know, within the 6 hours that I was going to be coming back home and kind of testing it out and seeing what would happen. I didn't want to look extra shiny or anything like that. Now, I can tell you that this foundation started off to be a very light coverage, and it definitely is. So the scarring on the sides of my face are definitely prominent. You can see them, but there's not much I can do about it. This foundation never claimed to be a full coverage foundation. I don't believe. No. So it's not a full coverage foundation whatsoever. But we're going to go ahead and wear it for the rest of the day. We are in at the 6 hour mark, and then at another 4 to 5 hours I'll come back and let's see what it looks like at the 10 to 11 hour mark. But so far I'm not uncomfortable with this at all. I think it's doing pretty well. I do feel like my contour, no, my contour is still there, but my blush is not as prominent as it was this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw a little bit more blush on because I just want a little bit more blush. And I did use a very light blush this morning. When I started, I used Bliss from Makeup Geek, and I'm just going to go ahead and replace some of that Bliss on here again because it's very light and I just want a little bit more. And excuse the wind if you can hear the wind in my videos. As of lately, it is seriously blowing like crazy out here, and sometimes you can hear the wind and there's not much I can do about that. So I haven't figured out how to cancel out noise and stuff in my videos, and I probably never will since I don't really play around with the editing type stuff, but you will hear the wind in my videos. So I just added a little bit more of the Bliss to it, and I think it looks okay. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to work here in a few minutes. I'm gonna go talk to my kids because they're home for lunch from school as well. And yeah, I think that I'm not as shiny as I expected to be, but in the middle of my face the foundation is starting to, let me get a little bit closer, to separate a little bit so you can see that. Here is the scarring there, which was never really covered up in the morning anyways, and then there's the scarring on the side, and then again, like I said, in the middle of my face here you can kind of see where it's separating out. I did use a concealer this morning, and it was the Born This Way concealer, so it wasn't like a heavy concealer or anything like that. But okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go back to work. I will be back in a couple of hours and we'll see what the end result of this foundation is. So far I like it, I do. Aside from the coverage, I think it's doing pretty good. Alright, I'll talk to you guys. It is now 4:55 in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm off of work and we're checking on this foundation that we're doing a review for. So I think that it looks okay. I didn't have high expectations going into this foundation because it is one of those luminizing foundations. So I expected it to get over shiny, you know, kind of accentuate my pores, all that kind of stuff, and I don't feel like it really did that today. I think it lasted really nicely on my face. Of course, you can see the scarring on the side of my face here. It was a very thin foundation to start off with, and it wasn't like a buildable foundation either. We weren't able to get it to a high coverage like some foundations that we've used in the past, but I think it did okay. It is pretty much gone from this area here on my face. So my nose, it's completely off my nose here, and it's kind of blotchy in my nose area. But as far as like my forehead goes, let me check real quick here. Like my forehead area, it's still there. And then, you know, on the sides here, it's completely gone. I really don't dislike this foundation. I think it will work for me on days that I want like a light coverage and something that's just, you know, kind of luminous, but it doesn't give me like that overly oily face, which I can tend to get. You guys have seen me come back many times with a crazy oily face and it doesn't look so great. I'm gonna go ahead and just take my brush here and just kind of smooth things out and see what happens after that portion. Now I do wear glasses. I wore glasses all day today, so you can see in the areas here on my nose where it did kind of, you know, rub off on the glasses area, and I did have makeup on my glasses. So that's something to be aware of if you wear glasses and, you know, you don't like that. It may smudge off here on your cheek area. My glasses don't generally touch my cheek, so I don't have to worry about that, but if you wear bigger glasses, it may do that for you throughout the day. But I think that the coverage from where we started this morning is still pretty much the same, except for the inner portion of my face. So I'm just going to take my L'Oreal Micellar water. I did a review on that as well. If you guys are interested, I'll put a link or a little card up top here so you can see. I'm just going to take off this side of my face here so we can see what it looks like after. It's about 10 hours that we've had it on. I think we started at about 7 o'clock this morning, so let me go ahead and take off this side here. And as you can see, there's still a lot of foundation on my face here, so I mean, there's still definitely some coverage going on as far as that goes, but here we go. Now here's the side that I just took off. You can see the redness really prominent there up here in the area where you can't really see it here, but if I look straight at the camera, you can see the areas where it has faded throughout the day compared to this side. So you can see it right here in this area here, and then kind of in this area here, and probably a little bit here on my chin. And then here's where I still have the foundation that's covering some of my acne scars here, and then here's the actual acne scars that I have that I always try to cover up throughout the day. So as far as like the coverage goes, I think it did pretty well. It wasn't overly luminous for my oily skin so that I could wear it and be happy with it all day long. I didn't feel uncomfortable with it. It didn't get overly shiny on my face. I think it's something that I will use from time to time because it doesn't overly, you know, saturate my face with oils and stuff like that. I really like this. I do. I really do enjoy this. I think this would be perfect for somebody with normal to dry skin. I don't feel like it accentuated any of the dry portions of my skin, which I do have right now because of the winter months. I have like a very overly combination skin, so I have dry patches and I have oily skin and, you know, normal skin in part as well. So, and you guys can see the problem areas that I have, you know, I have scarring and all that. So I think it did a very decent amount of coverage for my face for a work day. I would highly recommend this for anybody with dry or anybody with normal skin. That is my review for this foundation. Let me know if you've had any questions about this foundation, if you liked it, if you've tried it. I know it's fairly new. There was a big new sign on there, so I don't know how new it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Let me know if you have any questions, if you're gonna try it, if you have tried it and liked it or disliked it, and make sure you put that down in the comment bar down below. Let me know your thoughts on it. I really want to know if you guys have tried this, what you think about this new Covergirl Outlast Stay Luminous foundation. All right guys, that is everything I have today. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already to my channel, and I shall talk to you guys sometime next week. Bye.